Jackson Radio Show.
I don't deal with jails. Don't deal with jails, and I don't deal with police. My house got robbed in New York. I didn't even call the police. I wanted to, but I couldn't. My crib is too nice. It's not that it's too nice, but it's too nice for me. You know how the police are in New York. Soon as I open the door, they'll be like, oh, he's still here. Open and shut case, Johnson. Apparently, this black guy broke in and hung up pictures of his family everywhere. Never seen anything like it.
Black people don't want cops around, huh? Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I don't care. You could have 5,000 cops that live in my neighborhood. Good. I don't care. And I played that clip of Dave Chappelle because he obviously makes fun of the notion of not, calling the cops to his house and all that. And of course, it's tongue in cheek. And I'm sure there's some of that. But generally speaking, if you don't want to involve law enforcement, it's because you're doing something wrong. It's tough for a dope dealer to call the cops. It's like when some mafioso gets shot. He's like, don't take me to the hospital. No, don't take me to the hospital. You cannot call the hospital. I can't go. They have doctors, all these criminals, they have doctors in an underground, black market doctor who will treat them, makes a lot of money and says, look, I can't make any guarantees because I don't have this. I'm not set up for this. And at the highest level, they have their own network set up for this stuff. I know it's hard for us to believe because we're going, you mean a guy, gets stabbed and he won't go to the hospital? No, he goes to his own doctor. They have people that they call who say, you got to never use my name, blah, 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 but I've got a medical facility set up and they're making a crap load of money. Because the criminal element says, when my guys get killed or whatever, I'm not taking them to the hospital. I'm bringing them to you. They're on call 24/7. I'm just telling you, Hollywood doesn't make this stuff up. There are people that have to have a place to go that isn't in the mainstream because of the work that they do. But blacks, let me just tell you, it's funny how this whole criminal justice thing is it's twisted because that's what the left does. So you guys know we're making a film, bleedingbluemovie.com. We're making this film about cops. And it's a pro-cop film, but it explores a lot of the negative stuff about cops as well. But we're making this film. And what got me interested, and the reason why I'm bringing this up right now and talking about the police and played that David Chappelle comedy clip, is they want to put cops into schools. That was one of the suggestions. And a chick that writes for Huffington Post, I believe, her name is Rebecca Klein. She wrote a piece, and it was that more cops in schools means more blacks in the criminal justice system. And I thought to myself, only a leftist would have the cojones to write something like that. The more cops that they bring into schools, the more black people that are likely to get incarcerated. Children. We're not talking about dope dealers, gangsters out there doing the children that are in school. She's saying the black kids, they're the criminals. They wonder why black people become criminals. If somebody continually calls you a criminal, you're a criminal, you're a criminal, criminal. You certainly think you are. I told you guys my story. My dad went to prison and my uncle, and I was thinking, I guess I got to go to prison. Now, I could have succumbed to that and made it true. All the men on my father's side of the family, the young men, have been to prison. Every single one of them over the age of 30 has been to prison. And there are two who haven't been. They haven't hit 30 yet. One's a dancer. He's a gifted dancer, dances on Broadway. And his brother, William. Those are the only two. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm saying they're younger, but they haven't hit 30 yet. So I'm back to what I said. Over 30, every single one of the men on my father's side of the family has been to prison. That I know. Every one. So you get this mentality that you're going to go. I'm probably going to end up in prison. I had never done anything, nothing seriously wrong in my life. And I thought, I've got to go to prison. I guess that's just the nature of things. So what could stop me from going to prison is realizing, no, I'm in nowhere near that environment. I don't live in an environment that's conducive. Let me put it to you another way. Take all them little white kids out of suburbia, put them in the hood, and a bunch of them are going to end up in prison. This isn't a black thing or a white thing. It is a condition thing. It's a circumstance. It's the way it is. Now, the kids who are going to school and working hard, their chances are a lot less likely for it to happen. But there are some bad kids in school. But what cracked me up about this Rebecca Klein article and what she wrote is, in effect, she's essentially promoting this as opposed to telling these kids what police presence in schools will do is it will give you a feeling of being on the straight and narrow. You can no longer do the things that might give you it's like if you're going to go do something bad and you shoplift and they tell you, man, don't go to that store. They got mega security. They got cameras all over the place. It can't be done. You're probably going to say, well, probably not going to do it. Or you go into a store and they say, video surveillance. We prosecute shoplifters. You're going to go, probably don't want to go there. So the deterrent can impact your behavior, but not with the left. The left pretty much encourage you. They tell you, oh no, if there are more, this girl writes, if there are more cops in schools, more black kids are going to go into the criminal justice system. I would defy to her and say, that's a lie. Quite the opposite is going to happen. Here's what she writes. When President Donald Trump held a listening session with survivors of gun violence, their family members, and the parents of murdered students on Wednesday, much of the discussion focused on ways to enhance school security. The president recommended arming teachers, while one parent suggested that undercover police officers pose as teachers and school staff. Several parents called for more security officers at schools. There's scant evidence that more cops and security guards on campus actually stop school shootings. There's scant evidence just because there are no cops and security people on most of the schools. See, I'm stopping here just for a second. She knows that there's a lot of evidence that says if you have more police, you'll have less crime. It's absolutely the fact. That's a case. There's no arguing that. That's a case. You know what I'm saying? There's no arguing that fact. Armed security stops any type of thing. And I've already talked about it. There's no sense rehashing that at airports and at federal, buildings where law enforcement is there and has a presence, even armed security at some venue. You're going to have, if you've got a nightclub and they go, there are no bouncers and there's no security, and you have a nightclub that goes, they got bouncers and they have police officers who will shoot you, you're not going to have, tell me which one where the shootings are going to occur. Anybody? So there's lots of evidence that suggests it. It's not evidence in schools because we aren't arming enough schools to give you enough feedback. But I'll put it to you this way. Common sense certainly tells you if I arm school people in schools, there's going to be a lot less shootings in those schools. But she says this. There's an abundance of evidence suggesting that more school security means more vulnerable students getting funneled at an early age into the criminal justice system. So she's saying there's been a lot of research done that shows that if you put cops in schools, black kids are going to get arrested. And here's her evidence. Black children are already more likely to get arrested at school. In 2012, black children represented only 16% of school-age children, but 31% of those arrested. So what she's doing here, she's blaming the police because black kids are getting arrested in disproportionate numbers. It has nothing to do with the behaviors or anything like that. Oh, so what she is effectively saying is these black kids are committing crimes in disproportionate numbers at almost double their numbers in schools. And if the cops weren't there, they wouldn't be getting arrested. The solution to her is not stopping black kids from committing the crimes. The solution for her is remove the cops. That's going to help that statistic. Now, if you just care about the statistics, She's 100% right using that statistic. If you remove the cops, and we don't know that black kids are committing extortion or selling drugs or raping kids in school or whatever, then you know what? It's going to look like kumbaya. Look at all those black kids. There's no crime in black America, no crime in black schools. I wrote a piece a while back that said, if you listen to Al Sharpton, black people commit no crimes. We are just sad, products of the criminal justice system gone awry, but we're not doing anything wrong. We don't even exist. It's white lawyers, white cops, white prosecutors, white judges, white whatever. That's how we are always ending up in the wrong end of the system. And by the way, we're framed for everything. We don't do anything wrong. That's the same contention this woman is making by saying, if there's no cops, then there's no crime. If you didn't see it happen, did you know it happened?
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.